If you want a slim rear bumper to protect and complement the rear end of your 2018 or newer JL Wrangler, this Rockslide Engineering Gear Series full rear bumper without the tire carrier is an option that you should consider. Now this is tailored to the JL owner who wants protection without compromising clearance for whatever off-road adventure that you're tackling, and the addition of some utility over the factory rear bumper, integrating some options into your build. It's also a sleek looking option that offers an aggressive appearance and everything that you need without being overly bulky or weighing down the back, especially thanks to the hybrid aluminum and steel design, which I'll talk about in just a second. This rear bumper offers a wraparound design for a finished appearance and solid protection on all angles of the rear end of your JL. And while it is full coverage for a rear bumper, the wings on either side are super slim, providing a lot of room to work with when it comes to departure angles. The center section here is a bit chunkier to cover the brunt of whatever impact that you may come in contact with, and house some other features, including this huge cutout for an oversized tire, a pocket light mount on either side for accessory lighting, and also D-ring mounts. Now, there are also cutouts on the outer part of the bumper for additional lighting, and when not in use, those cutouts do have a honeycomb screen for a more finished appearance. As I said, this also includes heavy-duty shackle mounts to use D-rings or shackles as a recovery point, and a cutout at the bottom for the factory hitch, and this even has pre-drilled holes for a flag or antenna mount, which is a pretty cool bonus. Now, as I mentioned, this has a hybrid design with a steel base or backing that mounts to the frame itself and provides the structural integrity needed to withstand any impacts and house the recovery point so you have a solid option. And then on top is an aluminum shell. Now that allows for some weight reduction without reducing the strength of the system as a whole, and keeps those recovery points to a frame-mounted steel system. Now on top of the bumper, this all has a fine texture black powder coat finish to add a tough look and of course protect the metal underneath from rusting or corroding over time. This also includes the license plate bracket needed to keep up to standard and is pre-drilled, and includes all of the hardware for all of the factory backup sensors, so you don't have to sacrifice any of those factory features in order to upgrade to this bumper. This comes in at about $1,550, which is a more premium price point compared to others in the category, but it does have a lot of quality in the build to match the price and some unique features that you don't see in every option. Now, one thing that's unique about this is the hybrid design for the JL owners out there that prefer an aluminum part for the rust resistance and lightweight nature, but don't want to sacrifice strength in the meantime, especially when it comes to the recovery points. Now, it's also a super slim choice and comes with additional light mounting options and features that don't come with every rear bumper, as I said before. So if you are looking to invest in a well-rounded and tough option for your off-road lifestyle, this is a great choice to consider. Now, install for this is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and while it doesn't require any modification, it should take about 3 hours or so to complete the install front to back. Now, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers in the shop, and they are going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get this installed on your JL at home. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and jump into the install.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, ratchet, clip remover tool, Phillips head screwdriver, scissors or diagonal cutters, zip tie, 3/32, 1/8, 5/32, and 7/32 Allen wrenches, 7/16 wrench, swivel adapter, an extension, 7, 8, 10, 16, and 19 millimeter sockets, 21 millimeter swivel socket, and 3/8 and 11/32 inch sockets. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a rear bumper on our Wrangler. First, we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory bumper. Now, this was shot on a different Jeep, but the uninstall procedure is exactly the same. And then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start on the end. We have these little plastic splash guards we need to take off. There's going to be 3 screws total. I'm going to do this outer one first, and you'll need an 8 millimeter socket to get that screw out. So then you're going to have 2 on the inside right here. Same thing, 8 millimeter socket. We'll pull this out and we can get this cover off. So next we're gonna take off this bracket that was underneath of that plastic section. You're gonna have 4 bolts total. You're gonna have 2 going into the bumper right here, and you're gonna have 2 on the other end that go into the frame. We're gonna start with these 2 right here. You're gonna use a 16mm socket to get those out. So we're gonna go on the other side and get these bolts out of the frame section. Once you get that last bolt ready to come out, you want to put a hand on this bracket because it's ready to come off. So then we're going to hop on over to the other side and do that same exact thing. So we're going to stay on that same side. Next we have to get our tow hook off. So we have 2 bolts on the side and we have 1 bolt down here. This bottom one's going to be a 21mm, and these 2 side ones we're going to use a 19mm socket. Let's start with this bottom one first and get that out. And while we're over here, we're going to unplug our license plate light as well. So that's going to be this little plug right here. You can pull that off of here. And on this front side, we're going to have this little tab that we need to press in. So you have this gray locking tab we'll need to press up. Once you get that up, you're going to press down on that gray tab once it's out and up, and that's going to allow us to unplug that. So we're going to go over to the other side. Now as you see, we don't have a tow hook here, so we don't need to take out this bottom bolt. However, we do need to take out these 2 side bolts, so we're going to use that same 19mm to get those out. So then we're going to move to the middle, right in the middle, in front of the muffler right here on this frame section. You're going to have these 2 bolts. We need to get those out as well. These are going to be 19s, just like the side of those tow hooks. So we're going to go ahead and thread these out. So now that we have all that hardware removed, we can go ahead and get our bumper off. It's relatively light. It's just made of plastic, so you can probably do it yourself. I am going to open the tailgate just to give me a little more room and get our spare tire away from our bumper.
So now with our stock bumper removed, we're going to have to take apart a lot of this bumper to access our wiring harness for our license plate light. So we're going to have a lot of 7mm screws to undo, as well as a couple 16mm nuts to get this bracket out of here. So I'm going to start over here on the clip holding our wire harness to this bracket. Get under there with the clip remover tool, pop it out. And then I'm going to grab my 16mm socket for these 2 nuts, and then we've got these 2 7mm screws to remove this whole bracket. All right, 7mm socket to remove that 1 screw and the 2 up top. Pull that bracket off the studs. Grab your clip remover tool, undo the next clip on your wire harness. And then we're just going to be undoing all of these 7mm screws holding this in. And then we've got these 3 coming in from the bottom. So now we're going to come to the middle section. We've got 2 10mm bolts down here so that we can remove this bracket. Grab a 10mm socket. And we'll switch back to our 7mm. We've got these 2 screws as well as these 2 screws. And then for the other side, it's going to be the same exact process as the first side, so you can repeat over there. And now we can lift out our center bar. And now down by the connector for our license plate light, we have 1 more 7mm screw, and we're going to disconnect our connector while we're down here. So I'm just going to get a clip remover tool back here, press in on that black tab, pop it off. Grab 7mm socket to remove that screw, and then there's another one in the cutout on the other side as well. Now we're going to have to pop off these 3 clips. They're going to give us access to these last 2 screws that we need to get this piece out of here so we can lift up our plastic and access our wire harness. So grab the clip remover tool or flathead screwdriver and just press in on the tabs and then pop it out. And then on the outer plastic here, pull back, pop those tabs out, and then we'll get those 2 screws. Now take your 7mm socket, pull those 2 screws out, and then you can remove this whole outer plastic. So now with our entire bumper taken apart, we can lift out the center section here. Then we're just going to flip it over to reveal those 4 clips holding in our wire harness, and take a clip remover tool to pop those out. So now grab that clip remover tool, start popping these clips out. And you pull your harness the rest of the way out. So now we're ready to start assembling our new bumper. I'm going to start off with our grills. We've got these rectangular ones that are going to be going on the inner 2 holes. And then we've got these 2 for the outer holes. We've got some Allen bolts that are going through the front, and then washers and nuts for the back. So now we're going to take our small Allen head bolt. That's going to go through the bumper, and then your plate is going to go on the inside. We're going to get both of those bolts slid through. And then on the other side, we're going to put a washer on there. And then our lock nut. And then take a 3/32 Allen wrench on the bolt side and an 11/32 socket on the nut side. And then we'll get our rectangular plate. Now this can go in any direction here. Just make sure that you match up your orientation to be mirrored on the other side. And then we're just going to slide that same hardware through and do the same washer and nut on the other side. And then use that same 11/32 socket and 3/32 Allen wrench to tighten that down. And then do the same thing on the other side. Next, you can either install your parking sensors if your bumper came with them, or we have these caps to put in their place. Now, our bumper doesn't have the sensors, so we're gonna put the caps in here. If you were to reuse your parking sensors, you're gonna need to buy new brackets that they sit in, since they're glued into the factory bumper. So just line up that cap, and then just give it a smack to seat it down in place. And do that same thing on the other side. Next, we're gonna install this inner structure. Slide that down into place, and then you're gonna have to rotate this back to get those tow hooks through. And then we have our Allen head bolts. We've got two that are going through the top on each side, one going through the bottom over here. Now on the driver's side, you're gonna have to install your license plate bracket, and the bolt's gonna go through that bracket and then into this nut here. So now for our license plate bracket, we've got our two holes that are gonna line up with the two holes going into this inner structure. And then we've got this one hole that's lining up with this hole. We've got a smaller bolt for that. So grab a bigger Allen bolt, put a washer on there, put that through your bracket. And take 7/32 Allen wrench to get that started. Do the same thing on the other hole. And then grab your smaller Allen bolt, put it through that hole. And then we have a washer and a nut going on the other side. And then finally, you can get your Allen bolt and washer that's going into that nut on the bottom. And now grab your 7/32 Allen wrench, start tightening these down. And then we're going to take a 5/32 Allen wrench for our outside bolt and a 7/16 wrench to hold that nut, and you can tighten that one down. And now with the exception of the license plate bracket, you can repeat the same process on the other side. Next, we're going to install our license plate light. Now you want to look for the side with the LED. You want that pointed down. There's this little slot that you're going to tuck your wires through. Your connector is going to go through that big center hole. And then we're going to take one of our long Allen bolts, put it through, get a washer and a nut on the back. Do the same for the other hole. And then we're going to grab a 1/8 Allen wrench and a 3/8 socket and tighten these down. So now we're ready to lift our bumper up and into place. I'm going to grab myself a buddy to help me out with this. We're going to be reusing those factory bolts that go into the side here. We're going to go through the bracket and into the threaded holes inside our frame rail. So I'm going to grab that buddy now. I got the door opened up so we can scoop that under where the spare tire is going to be, and we'll get this mounted up. So now I've got my buddy here. We're going to lift this up into place and reinstall our factory bolts. On this side, be careful not to pinch your wire when you're raising this up. Now we're going to go back and tighten down those two bolts. Now I've got a swivel adapter with a 3-inch extension and a 21mm swivel socket to get in here. And just go ahead and tighten that down and do the same thing on the other side. So now we just need to grab our factory license plate light harness. We're going to connect the one side to our new license plate light, and then grab our body connector and plug that back in, and then press that locking tab into place. And now we just got to zip tie up all this excess wire, and then we've got a nice little slot up here we can tuck it all into. So go ahead and bunch it all up, grab a zip tie, cinch it down, and then grab a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters, cut off the excess of that zip tie, and then we'll just tuck it up into that slot in the body. And now all we have left to do is press in our 4 license plate clips, and then we'll grab the screws and our license plate, screw it in. Grab your license plate and your screws. And a Phillips head screwdriver. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Rockslide Engineering Gear Series full rear bumper without tire carrier for your 2018 and newer Jeep Wrangler JL. Thank you for watching, and for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.